overdue update video plus life updates coming now. So, here's what we got. I've been very quiet in a lot of senses. It's hard to try and come back from 2020, and that's anybody. But even before COVID hit, early 2020, I found out not once, not twice, but at least 4 different times where what I was putting out didn't quite come back. And sometimes that's hard to deal with. The majority case for me usually has to do with work scenarios, and I've definitely had my fair share of that. Probably more than I actually counted just now for the beginning of the year, because it was something that continued on throughout, well, that wonderful event in 2020 that's still taking place here in 2021. But I won't say it by name because Facebook doesn't like that, apparently. Provided this channel isn't big enough for that to probably get noticed, but we'll take the precaution anyway. So that's been hard. Trying to actually make a living and be financially fit and so on and so forth. It's leading more towards how do we recover from things like this, right? Because really it's ultimately rejection at the end of the day. So how do you come back from that? That's what I've been trying to figure out. It's led to a life of more intent, or a life you go into with intent, knowing why you're doing what you're doing and not doing things just because. So a life with intent, minimalism, downsizing, and to go along with said minimalism, and also making select choices about who you decide to associate with and why. This is nothing personal to anybody that might be seeing this that perhaps we haven't actually communicated in quite some time for one reason or another, but it's just simply you start to figure shit out. And with figuring things out, it's led me to this point where things I used to be quiet about, I'm no longer quiet about. Expressing your feelings, especially to someone that you love and care about, that is important. Whether they accept it or not, that's entirely different, but it needs to be said, because while I've definitely been known to keep on with situations that don't necessarily work, I will make my best attempts to try to make them work out. This has been the case with my gaming community as well, where sometimes one thing or another gets out of line and then action needs to be taken. I do try to give a person an opportunity to correct whatever's going on before actually taking action, but unfortunately some people know how to push buttons. But I guess this is the internet nowadays, so what else can you do? Another thing on the side, and I have embraced this for what it is for one reason or another. In my home with my current partner, I do have essentially a caretaker role that I take. It's hard. It's something I don't take lightly, and sometimes I push too hard to get things accomplished. But ultimately, it's to make sure that, there's a happy, healthy home, right? So that does, from time to time, prevent me from doing things. And this isn't on them, that's on me. Prioritizing what to do in life and why is still something I'm working on, because I'm also trying to get my own life back together. Fortunately, I have been through at least 2 different unemployment runs during this whole crisis. We can say that, right? It's crisis. Don't take me down, YouTube. But yeah, things have been tough, and the weirdest things have put me in a good mood. One of them actually being children's card games, referring to Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically, through a group called Judgment Gaming. You should check that out if you're into card games or want to learn about them. But this is kind of where things are at. I don't really know what else to say without rambling on for too long, but this is kind of where everything is. If you don't know why you're doing something, then why the hell are you doing it to begin with? Being able to provide is something that has been a theme throughout my life. Unfortunately, sometimes when you provide, you have to be careful. You can put yourself out too much. You can be too vulnerable. You can offer financial help. It doesn't matter, right? If it's not appreciated, then it's time to go. And, that's nothing personal. This is also to a smaller extent, might involve anybody you talk with as well. And again, it's nothing personal. We can agree to disagree and whatever the case may be, right? I do wish, for the most part, everybody well, provided you're not like some serial killer or something, but it's the way things are, Sometimes things don't work out, and there's a reason for that. And it's less about trying to find all the answers. That tends to be the person I am. I want to find answers, but sometimes it's not worth trying to find the answers. Sometimes you just feel it, and you got to go with that. Trusting the gut more often is something I'm trying to do. Some would say live for the moment, but sometimes that takes you away from the harsh realities that can come from living in said moment that you have to deal with later. So trying to find a proper balance for everything is a big theme that I'm really trying to get together. And I really don't want this video to last too long, but I kind of wanted to give a rough idea of where everything is at. To those dealing with health issues that they didn't ask for, I wish you the best of health. For those trying to find themselves, I would suggest days of silence and a lot of soul searching. For those that are unemployed due to COVID, well, looks like I said it. No, take me down, YouTube. Take me down. I'm not recording this again, so if anyone that's having trouble with that, just keep looking, keep being persistent. I know a thing or two about that. I've had to do it myself. So whether it's not just you looking on various job sites, also, going ahead and signing up for a few different temp agencies, whatever you got to do. If you need help with supplies, try to find a good support system so you can actually, get said supplies. Network with intent too, because you don't want to have the wrong people around. What else can really be said? I think that we've covered a lot of bases here, but intent is the key word. It's the theme, really, of the video. Doing that leads to better decisions, better choices, and a better life. One that, fast forward however many years, you're not as much, you're probably going to wonder about one thing or another, like what if I did this different, what if I did that different. But the more you live life with intent, the less potential you have to live life with regret. Take care, everybody. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.